Hello everyone, welcome. Today we're going to talk about Army Corps of Hell for the Vita. Square Enix's first game for the Vita. Physically, you only get a small paper with a Square Enix members card, no booklet, and of course the game. So nothing much there. So what is this game? This game was made by no studio and Square Enix published it. This is basically a knockoff of Pikmin or Overlord, which Overlord was described as a knockoff of Pikmin with a mature, gritty kind of touch. And this goes for the exact same idea. Personally, I would say it's less interesting, though. For one thing, the level layout is what makes me say that. Basically, Overlord and Pikmin, they had big sprawling worlds, while Pikmin was in a stage-by-stage like system. Overlord was a very open world where you could run through different environments and shit. Army Corps of Hell basically has very small rooms with hallways leading to each one, and the little hallways basically shoot you out like a jet fire into the next room. So you're basically just going from a little squared room to another squared room to another square room, which only the occasional big rooms, usually for bosses or kind of big fight moments. So it's not a very involving game. Like the original Pikmin, there are only 3 types of goblin minions that you get in your army, and they are warriors, spearmen, and mages. Each one has different advantages. Warriors are very average, and like Pikmin, you just easily command them to jump and throw at enemies. Spearmen, while they can charge individually, you can also do a defensive measure and send the whole unit of spearmen straight in a straight line from where you're facing. Very useful for certain areas where there are lightning traps and such, making hallways where it's harder for an entire group of your military force going. And goblin mages can charge up and shoot energy out at ranged. So they all have their uses, but it's all very simplified. And admittedly, to me, it doesn't feel incredibly challenging so far. I've killed 3 bosses, and so far it seems more like for a quick and pick up kind of thing. Most stages didn't take longer than 10 minutes, averagely 5 to 10 minutes, varying on whether you would literally explore the entire map, because sometimes there's side paths that just lead to a dead end or go into a circle and such. So overall, it shouldn't take you probably longer than 15 minutes to finish a stage. Unless the game starts getting really, really fucking hard. And I don't know how long this game is. But so far, that seems to be the average length. And it really seems to be encouraged, like, pop out on a bus, do a stage, and then back in your pocket to carry on normal life again. So basically, if you want Pikmin, a violent Pikmin game on the go, it's alright. It functions, it works, it's competent, but so far it doesn't feel incredibly challenging, and it feels easy. Because a lot of times, unlike Pikmin or Overlord, where you're punished severely for fucking up and losing a lot of your minions, and you have to basically work to get those minions of that type back again, this game just has convenient prison cages located everywhere, and every single boss room I've seen so far, where you can just quickly recap new minions to fill up your army again to keep fighting. And only 1 boss has ever killed me so far. And once you realize that note, you can easily just stay out of danger so far, really, that I've been in. So the only real challenges is to get the ranks of bronze, silver, and gold in the stages. And if the only thing you care about is from beginning to end and throw the game on the shelf, then this game isn't challenging. However, if you do like that kind of stuff, like in Catherine trying to get gold on every stage and stuff, this game might be more interesting then, because then it would be challenging, because you're on a timer, you need overkill points, which should be self-explanatory, like Final Fantasy X. Overkills when you do massive damage at one time, which your normal soldiers are capable of doing that, because when they stack, when so many stack on an individual enemy, you can execute a special attack that just deals a massive amount of damage to that foe. And that's one of the primary ways to execute tons of overkill damage. But you got that, how many goblins died in the stage and that, so that's really what the challenge is in the game. So if you're not interested in the kind of scoreboard, gold medals kind of thing, this game ain't going to really be that challenging, because it's pretty easy to go through if you have no real interest in that. Overall, like I said, if you're looking for kind of a Pikmin-like style game on the go, because I don't know of any handheld games that are like Pikmin, to be honest. They're all on console, really. The few I know. A Little King Story, Overlord, and that. So, this game I would recommend if you get for a reasonable price. I wouldn't say any more than $20 probably. Probably $10, $15 is a better price to try and get this game for. Any more than that, I don't think it's really worth that much. It's okay for some mild amusement, but it's, in the long term, it seems like it's very repetitive. And to top that off, I do have some other stuff to talk about. The story, the art, and the music, of course. Let's start with the music. Not that I hate the music, but it's not my particular taste. I'm not really into rock and roll and that. And, I mean, not to say it's never been a Square Enix game. I mean, Jet's theme from Final Fantasy X was a rock and roll style song. But this game's loaded with a lot of rock and roll, and it's not usually my particular taste of music. So I didn't personally listen to a lot of the music on Max. I actually toned it down a bit because it's actually a little overwhelming in my opinion. But that is my opinion. If you like rock and roll, you might actually like the music. You can probably check it out on YouTube or something if you're curious. Art style. The art style looks nice at first, but sadly it suffers a lot of recycled images. And those still images too, which really, really is the epitome of poor storytelling these days. I mean, didn't we just talk about this recently in something else, actually, now I think about it? But it uses a lot of still images over and over again. And while they look interesting art style, it gets kind of boring real fast. Because at the end of every stage, you get these. And it's almost like the same recycled thing with a few little touches that are just a little different. There was no English dub also. It's all in Japanese with English subtitles. So take that as a good or bad thing depending on your preference there. Story, it seems almost non-existent. You literally start with a skull falling in this base camp of goblins, and it's like, hey, you're my minions now. Pfft, now we're taking over hell, my domain, and it doesn't even explain anything. I believe it was the back. Yeah, we claim your throne as the king of hell. Defend the exiled. The king of the hell has been stripped of his powers and banished from his throne. Become the king and command an army of goblins as you stop nothing to reclaim your title and annihilate the demons of the underworld. I mean, the beginning of the stories, so far what I've played, it doesn't tell jack shit about that, so. But, yeah, kind of mediocre Pikmin thing, pretty repetitive so far, but it's competent enough to function. So, like I said, if you get it for a reasonable price, not a horrible thing, but for its original max price of like $39 or $49, how much ever it was, I mean, it was an early Vita game, definitely not worth that much. I'd say 20 at most, probably more like 10 or 15. It's okay on the go for sure. But I sat there and played up to 3 bosses, and it just got really repetitive. The environments, there are so few changes in the environment so far, and if it keeps going like that until the end, it's just tons of recycled stuff. Ugh. But it functions, it works, and as far as I see, there's no real bugs or problems with it. So, for a small price, I think it's alright. For a absolute new price in that, not really. So, you'll have to kind of gauge on that feedback on whether you think this game might be for your Vita collection or not. Anywho, I might play just a little bit more, but I think it's time to get back to Dark Souls 2. Praise the sun. Yeah.